Cool guys, welcome to Behind the Brave with me, Ryan V, and our awesome guest, Philip Malan, who is a good friend of mine. Phil is a seriously good musician, songwriter, and a worshipper, and just a really dear friend. Phil, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me on. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, thanks, brother. So Phil's the second guest on Behind the Brave, and the first musician that we're going to be featuring. So, yeah, Philly, maybe you can just kick it off by telling us a bit about your musical journey, where it all started.
Sure. I can go far back, or
As far back as you want, man.
man, I've got this weird memory, and I mentioned it to someone recently. I must have been very young at the house in Stellenbosch where I grew up, and my grandmother on my mom's side was there, and she passed when I was young. So this is a very early memory, and I remember walking down the passage, and someone was playing piano, and for some reason had like a tambourine or a hand drum in my hand, and I walked into the room, and then I hit it as someone on the piano. I think it was my mom, or I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Someone started, and I hit it at exactly the same time, and my grandmother said to me, like, this is vivid, I don't know why it came up now, and she said to me, look, you started right at the right time. And she almost like spoke a word of like inspiration or a word of encouragement into me at such a young age.
That's amazing.
And I don't know why they came up now, but I remember that, and I remember that from early on. And then, there was always music in the house. My mom was a music teacher, and she led the music ministry at the church we were at. I remember quite a few occasions just sitting under at the bottom of the piano while she was leading worship or in worship practice. I started guitar when I was 9 years old, I think. I dabbled in piano and recorder as well as a youngster, and but really found kind of a home in the guitar, and knew that I wanted to pursue it seriously. So I carried on studying through school, and then went on to university to study at Stellenbosch, and now I guess this box and six strings are very part of my day-to-day life. I use it every day teaching music at a school and at the church, all over, all the time. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And your studies, when you went to university and studied guitar, you met someone special there, didn't you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually, because I was very into electric guitar at a school age, I just kind of played electric, and I was really into kind of alternative rock, and I wanted to pursue something with the electric guitar, and so jazz. Sorry, almost dropped my guitar. Jazz was the only place where I could possibly do that, and I auditioned to get into UCT, and I actually didn't get in. And it was a crushing moment for me, like, because it was like, wow, you weren't good enough. Or but I think it was just so far removed from what I was used to, and I remember my parents encouraging me. They were like, if God closes a door, there's a better one coming, and just like that positivity, and that's just keep your head up. And I went to Stellenbosch, and yes, I met my wife there. My life changed for the absolute better there. So many good things came from that one door closing and another one opening.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you just touched on, I think for a lot of creatives that go through that process of, rejection, how did you deal with that? Like, I'm sure there's probably many stories of, feeling like you're putting your heart and soul out there, and, sometimes people are just not that receptive to it.
Yeah, sure, that's the journey for all of us, eh?
Yeah.
We were just chatting before this interview about me coming out of a bit of a drought creatively, I was disappointed. I think we went away we're super fortunate to have a place where we can get away as a family, and we went away there on the coast, up the coast, and I think it just Went surfing for the weekend and just cleared my head, and that was the way I dealt with stuff back then. So yeah,
That's awesome.
pretty good way to deal with it. I think
Yeah,
we should
yeah.
start doing that again.
And how long you been surfing?
Oh, that's like I think I got my first surfboard for my 13th birthday.
Okay.
But before then, I started standing up on the bodyboard because it was just like this. I don't know. I'm a very obsessive personality, as many of us who in the music and creative stuff. So I was like, I want to surf, and I don't want to lie on the board. I want to stand up, and that started then, and it's also something that I haven't been spending a lot of time doing recently, but I hope to get in there soon again and get that going again. Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's cool, man. I love it. Yeah. And I think I'm obviously a big fan. I mean, it's so interesting, chatting about rejection and trying to make it, in music, and many of us have different ideas of what that is, but we all obviously carry a gift and something of value, and for me, listening to your music has been something really awesome for me to appreciate. You're not like this massive star out there. I mean, you are in my book.
Thanks, brother.
But I'd love you to chat about To My Son, which is a song that you wrote for your son. Give us the lowdown on that.
So, I think for me, I don't think I've ever written a song where I set up trying to write a song. So this one started one night. He was very young. I mean, like toddler. And Marsan, my wife, my son, Marsan, her name is Marsan. She was in the kitchen just preparing supper, and John, our son, was lying on the couch, and I don't know, I was sitting on the chair at the counter of the kitchen with a guitar and just picking out a little riff, and I came up with this little riff that goes something like this. And immediately I was like, this melody is actually really nice. This little. And it stuck with me, and I don't know, I was still like I was in a very light-hearted space, and I looked at him on the couch and he was dozing off, and then I just sang spontaneously, just sang, "Go to sleep, my son, there's peace for you tonight." And it was just then, and I was like, this is going to be a song. Like,
so beautiful.
And so, then I started, and I think that was the initial spark, and that's the thing for me with creativity is, like, when the spark happens, then I can start working. But I don't know how to make the spark happen. And that's the weird thing about it, and it's almost like I don't have control over it, which is cool. But obviously there are things that we can do to kind of get into that place where that can happen. But once that happens, then you can sit down and work. And so I sat down and started writing mostly lyrics, because the guitar section came really quickly. And so it ended up being a letter to him. I mean, he knows the song. He always, sometimes he'll say, "Daddy, play my song," and so I'll put his song on. But I hope when he's older that he'll really get down and look at those lyrics, and that they'll do something in his heart, and because they came from a deep place. As I was writing the lyrics, really just experienced, the father heart of God to me as well. Of if I was writing this to him and feeling this over his life and saying, yes, may you know that place where your heart is free, and your fears fall down at the sight of glory, and just this letter to him. And if I'm feeling that over his life, what does God feel over my life and your life and everyone? where the song comes from. It's got quite a light-hearted feel, but the lyrics are super deep, which is, I think, maybe a lot of my music has maybe that kind of vibe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And maybe you can, just touching on, what you said there about the Father heart of God. Your testimony, can you share a little bit of that with us, and with our audience? Just how God has impacted your life.
Yeah, I grew up in a house with two wonderful parents who served God from their heart. Who really, I didn't see like a false one thing on Sunday and something else in the week from them. They really lived it out, and so there was definitely, growing up in that atmosphere, definitely just so much, I don't know, what you exposed to so many good things, but I definitely drifted away in my teen years and early adult life, but yeah, I got to university and started studying music, and met a friend who was involved in a church in the area, and I don't know, they had like a seminar kind of thing on a Sunday morning, and for some reason I asked him, can I go with? I think I was feeling bad. I didn't wasn't really going to church much, and like that kind of like, you're growing up with it, it's this thing that you used to, and there was definitely, like when I told the story, it's, the older I get, the more I realize how much there was when I was younger. So it's not like I'm telling this and it was like, it's almost like where I'm getting to now, it's like that's when I came home, I guess. And so it was 5 days after my 19th birthday, and we attended a seminar at the church, and I sat through the whole morning. It was really interesting, but I heard like real stories, of God's working in like the real world, like with real stuff that had happened. It wasn't like somewhere out there. And they, as common in certain churches, they gave people a chance to respond if they would like to make a commitment from their side to God. And I was like, I watched everyone go up, and I was like, okay, good. And it got right to the end of the seminar, and we were all standing, and it was like, there was no like public ministry happening at that point. It was just at the end, and all I can explain to you is that God's presence landed upon me, and I actually became weak at the knees, and I had to sit down. I sat down, and like it was just like I'd never experienced anything like that before.
Amazing.
And all I knew is like He was calling me. It was like, Philip, I'm calling you today, and it was like the love of God, the draw, and the fear of God, like it was all there at once. Because I was like, I knew like this is my day to respond. Like I'm like, I can't turn away from this. This is like, I went up and I just said to the guy presenting the thing at the end, everyone was leaving. I just said, I don't know what's going on with me, and I was like weeping by that point.
Amazing. And
he just led me in a prayer of just repentance.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's like I was weeping, man, because I was like I was so aware of how far gone I was, and the more I prayed, the more the love of God just washed my heart.
Sure.
You're getting so emotional now.
That's so awesome, man. Me too.
And I went home, and my mom and dad were like, "Oh, how was it?" And listen, the night before I partied hard. I was like, I was like pretty hungover at the thing in the morning. Like it was, and I mean, it wasn't like I was but you're young, you're a student, you're testing out what is the world to offer you, checking, and I got home, and my mom was like, "How was it?" And I just like burst into tears, and I was like, I gave my heart to God, and she just embraced me, and my father embraced me, and just it was like a welcome home.
That's so awesome, man. I actually just feel right now, that song, To My Son, is on streaming platforms. And I actually, if you're watching this and you really feel like you need a connection with a father, I really feel that you should just go and listen to that song. So we're going to put that link into the description of this video. So please go check out Phil's music, especially To My Son. Just back to my son. There was something interesting that happened when you recorded the song.
Yeah, so it was so, I mean, like, the more I'm talking and the more I think about all of this stuff, like, I realize family is so at the heart of all of my music and who I am. And so it was awesome to have my wife firstly playing keys, and she does a lot of backing vocals and just being involved in the project. And we were with Constant, who was producing the song and who I've worked with for many years with all of my music. And so we started out, and generally, oftentimes with music production, you'll record 2 guitar takes and you'll put the one in the right and the one in the left to give a real nice wide sense of the sound and the stereo effect. And so we did that, and it sounded great. And then we got to the piano part, and she started playing, and I was just like, ooh, what's going on here? And everything was just like, it just didn't click, like. And we realized that, okay, the guitar's obviously not in tune. And I'm like, but I tuned with my Boss pedal tuner, the one that I've used for all the years. I've had it for over a decade, and it still works. It's 2 decades now almost, and it still works, and I still use it at gigs and at church and whatever. And we were like, I checked on my phone, what's going on? And then we're like, no, maybe it's just our perception. And like, no, something's definitely out of tune. Anyways, long story short, matched it against another tuner, and we realized that my guitar tuner was out by a few cent or a few frequencies. And so the story was John had been playing on it, and he had pushed buttons and changed. So I had to go research how to restore it back to factory settings.
No way.
How funny, like the song that's about him, that he actually had a a bit of an interest.
He was putting his frequency into it. That is so cool. Oh, that's awesome. Some of your musical influences, Philly. Some of your favorite musicians and guys that have.
I think for me, like at the very heart of who I am, it's acoustic. I don't know, something about like the outdoors, something about nature, just being in wide open space. I've always liked the thing of like whatever I play, it must be accessible and easy to just pick up and play. Everything, and obviously, like before I released these songs with lyrics and vocals in, I'd also done instrumental music, and that's still such a big part of like my playing. So I definitely leaned towards guitar players. There's still 2 amazing South African guitar players who influenced me, like growing up, were Tony Cox and Steve Newman, and they had the real finger picking technique, and I was so interested in it because it was almost like you could make the guitar kind of have a piano approach, playing melodies and bass lines all together. And then I listen to so many different styles. I love everything. Anyone who's doing something genuine and it catches your ear musically, and there's something real there.
That's awesome. You're not a bad electric guitarist either. Or bassist or drummer for that matter. Philly, Down That Road, another one of your original compositions. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Down That Road, again, a song with so many ties to my family. So I mentioned we've got this place that we can go to up the coast, and there is my uncle lives there, one of my cousins and his family lives there. There's just, I think if you're there on a December, there's probably over 50 family members who are there from my family on my dad's side, and so it's such a special place. And the whole time I was busy with Down That Road, there was like this little catch, or the little hook at the end of the chorus, and every time I played it, it just reminded me of the road down from the N2 down to the coast. So it's a song about this little town and everything that goes on there. But there's so many. The one lyric I was telling you about in the second verse, over there we would always, when the tide comes in, the river flows up with the tide really strongly, and then when it goes out, it flows back down, and it's like, but it's safe to swim. You can, so we would often jump in high up the river and float down with the tide down to the sea, or do vice versa when the tide is coming in. And I know that one line says, dip your feet in, the waters are cleansing. Don't be shy now, why not just jump in and go with the flow? Don't try and swim against the tide. And it's like when I sing it, I think of those memories doing that. But obviously those lyrics are saying so much more than just that. So yeah, it's I really, really enjoyed the musical production of the song.
Yeah.
I still really like how it sounds. Actually, I listened to it the other day, and I was like, I hadn't listened to it in months or for just a long time. And I was like, actually really like the sound of it. It's got a nice vibe to it. It's like a road trip kind of song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Would I be putting you on the spot if I asked you to play a little bit?
Yeah, let's just. Pack your bags, we're heading out west, out where the air is so clear. You will find rest, sometimes a little change of scenery is all we need. The sun is setting, the wind has died down, our expectations are brought to the foreground. It's time to move on, let's go. Will you come with me? Somehow I know no matter where I go, I will always find my way back home, down that road.
That's awesome, dude. I love it. Billy, you and I met, I had a long time out of church, 14 years, and then came back into that community. And I think one of the biggest things for me has been my friendship with you, and just that community, obviously exposing me to a friend like you has become like a brother, and you and I have had a few discussions about the songs we write and the secular versus sacred, that whole thing. And what I want to get to basically is the worship side, of music. Do you see it all as worship, everything that you produce, or is there a certain genre that you just see as worship?
Yeah, I should. The more, when you're really young and you think you know everything,
I know
so
that very well.
Convinced.
Yeah.
It's like the longer I walk with God, the more I realize how little I.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it is. He's not easily boxed in, or and we like to put compartments on everything, and I mean, I do it as well, and just in the way we think, but he's so beyond just the four walls of a organized meeting place or tradition, or
absolutely.
But I think some of the times we have felt like, wow, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, is when leading worship. That feeling of like you're not trying, it's just happening, and it's like you're doing what you're made to do, and I feel that when I lead worship.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Mm.
I actually remember, in my life as a musician, and having words spoken over my life about music, you kind of, as a young man, were very opinionated and, got your own sort of way of thinking. Like, for me, it was like rock stardom. You know, that's what God is calling me to. You know, outside the four walls of the church, which is obviously, you know, that there's this place for both. You know, but it's interesting. My band, you know, told you a bit about the waiting room, and I remember reconnecting with our bassist after a good number of years after, you know, our band had, you know, seen its last days, and he had gone through like a pretty rough time, and he, you know, one of his takeaways with music was, you know, that actually it's all for His glory, you know. So, and that's something that I've really tried to live with over the last few years, you know, that it's His kingdom first, and whether the song sounds Christianese or whether it sounds like something that could work on radio, it's actually all for His glory, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like when you play these songs, you know, these are not songs that you would necessarily hear in a congregational setting, but there's really such an anointing on them, man. I just want to encourage you, and also I know that you've been involved in writing some worship stuff as well, specifically congregational stuff. How's that been different, you know, compared to just writing, you know, I guess for yourself?
Sure, yeah, it's been a while since I wrote anything. I think the last time I wrote congregational was with you.
Wow, that was a while ago.
A while ago, yeah. Yeah, it's a different. I think music is always. Music is so. For me, when I write, it's so close to. It's so personal, and suddenly when you're writing for congregation, it's both, and it's so singability, and it's interesting trying to match those two, of like wanting to be as creative as possible, but wanting to find something that facilitates a group of people being able to sing well together as one voice. So yeah, I mean, I don't claim to. I mean, I think I haven't delved into this much at all, other than for a season, really focusing on it. But yeah, it's actually amazing to be in a room and worship together with a group of people and realize that they're singing a song that you wrote, and it's facilitating a connection between them and God, and it's something that you wrote. So that is something very, very special. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I've got one last question.
Yeah.
It's a deeply theological question. Cricket. You and I both love cricket.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be cool to just hear about your story of, you know, what you love doing behind the scenes, you know, other than surfing.
At school, you know, I was a really competitive youngster with sport, especially in primary school. The will to win, the will to want to get better. Yeah. And in high school, I started to pursue music really seriously, and then the surfing thing, and there was these two very individualistic passions, and suddenly sport was kind of just like, you know, I loved it, but it wasn't something that I invested in. Yeah. And then you and I met, 2022.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I can't believe it feels like we've known each other for like much longer. Yeah. And I started playing action cricket with you, and it was like I remember that first game. I said to my wife, they came with, they watched it, you know, it was such a big thing, and I said, I'll just help them out, like, you know, help them out for this game. I think I didn't miss a game the whole season.
Famous last.
I was sold. But I think the thing for me with sport is like the team camaraderie is the thing that does it for me.
Yeah.
Like I just love that, and I realized like that competitive thing hadn't died, it just reawoke. And obviously, like our son John, he's, you know, if you ask him now, like I think his greatest passion right now is cricket, and he's so competitive, and so no, cricket's a lovely, I love it. It's what a sport. There's nothing like it. There's so many factors. I mean, you and I watch so much cricket together. We've just bought tickets for the Australia and South Africa test at Newlands in October. Obviously, we couldn't get in January for the England one because CSA decided to give those all to foreigners. Anyways, good game.
Awesome. Awesome. Philly, it's been so lucky having you here, man. Guys, please check out Phil's music. I'm going to put it into the description, as mentioned earlier. But Philly, thanks so much, man. It's been awesome to chat to you.
Thanks so much, my brother. Thank you for inviting me on this, and it's been really good for me to be here as well. Thank you. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.